What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing an upgraded fuel pump in the Rabbit Audi RS4. Alright, so what you see here is a full-on fuel pump assembly, but there's a few things you need to know in order to do this. First and foremost, this isn't needed if you're still naturally aspirated. The stock fuel pump on the Rabbit still runs fine at about 12 psi, just to give you an idea. So whether you're stage 2 or even if you're doing high compression and cams, I don't think you're going to need to upgrade the pump. But anyway, so this is an OEM top section with the RS4 bottom. So it's been retrofitted by Adam at Nothing Leaves Stock in Pennsylvania. They do good work and not expensive at all. This is a real cheap service he did for me. So what I did is I sent him my top section and a new RS4 assembly, 2 full assemblies. He basically just took them, retrofitted them together. So this is an RS4 pump, bottom section, strainer, the float and everything, and then the one that came out of my Jetta. So basically it works best with the MK6 top section, which the 2010 Jettas are MK6, and as well as all the MK6s, you go to the junkyard and pull one out if you don't want to have any downtime with your car. Send it off, obviously get with them and see if they could take the extra projects, and they'll do it for you. So retrofitted together, this is a drop-in pump now. It connects the same obviously with the hoses and electrical connector since it came out of the cars. Drop right in, plug up and go. Now the only thing is sometimes people have popped a fuse with them, so what you need here is a 20 amp fuse. This is going to replace the, what's upside down, this is going to replace the 15 that's in here. I'll show you where that's at. Some cars may be different, like MK6 models, the fuel pump fuse might be in a different spot, but this is fuse number 27, 15 amp. It's the only one I got in there right now. So right there. For the full-size fuses, it's the top row right about in the middle. You see that, the 5th one over. So we'll pull that out. I'll put the 20 in there. So now I'm good to go there. I can go ahead and do the swap and not have to worry about it. If I can just use one hand to do this would be great. There you go. Anyway, now some people pull off their gas cap to relieve pressure. That doesn't really do a whole lot. What you got to do is come under the hood here, this Schrader valve. You'll take off the cap and you'll push that down with a flathead and let all the fuel pressure bleed out. But you're going to want to have either safety goggles on or at least a rag. Put it over top of that, squeeze it, let the fuel purge out, because fuel will get in your eye. Once you let that purge out, the fuel system is now depressurized, so you can take the pump out. So I got to remove the seat. Don't mind how dirty it is. So these are just the tools you're going to need. Long flathead like this with a rubber mallet, so you can pop the ring that holds the fuel pump on. Loosen it up by knocking it a couple times, it'll pop out. And to undo the plastic connector and the fuel quick connect tabs, I use a combination of a flathead and 90-degree pick, whatever works best for you. So I'll show you how to get that out as well. All right. So I'm gonna crawl in here. Hopefully you can see everything kind of decently. Careful, pop this up. So it's going to be hard to show you because everything's kind of tight. But I'm going to pop this tab up on the connector. Might be easier to use the pick. Comes right off. It's a red tab. I just pulled it up with the 90 degree and pulled it up slightly and it all came off together. Now, this would be a good time, since it's still sealed, to blow the whole top section off. This is the top of the fuel tank. You literally get dust from the road, little pebbles and leaves and all kinds of stuff piles up right on top of here. So you could blow it off with like if you have an air compressor, that would work extremely well. You might want to cover your eyes. You could also go to like Office Depot or Staples and get the compressed air can. Home Depot, stuff like that has it. You can air it all off. That way when you're pulling the pump out, moving these lines around, trying to keep them out of the way, you're not kicking a bunch of dirt into the fuel tank. So, little mosquitoes in here. So let's go ahead and take these lines off. Hopefully I got enough fuel pressure out. Actually, it wouldn't be a bad idea to double check it, because I don't like getting gasoline in the eye. That had to happen once. Alright, so here's the Schrader valve. I just grabbed a towel that I was using at the beach the other day. Just want to cover your eyes. That's the whole point of this. Engine's still a little warm from driving it. Quite a bit of pressure in there. Got a strong pump. Sealed system. Got gas running down the front of my motor, which is awesome. So, you know, the next time I drive it, I get fireworks. Dying off now. So once you're confident that you got all the pressure out, you can go ahead and start removing the pump, the lines, and then the pump. That should be good. All right. Sometimes they're hard to see. One. Alright, so the black line that comes in this way, straight, you gotta push it from the driver's side over to the passenger side. The tab goes that direction. Still some gas there. I'm surprised I still had pressure. Let me go grab that towel. I planned on throwing this towel away anyway. If you use a towel, by the way, to soak up gasoline or a bunch of oil, don't put it in your washer. It's not a good idea. Throw it away. Alright. Other line. This one goes from the front of the car to the back. Alright. Try to push them out of the way a little bit. It's not that easy to keep them out of the way. They're kind of annoying because they're like nylon, but they're kind of stiff. So they just like being in the way a lot. Well, that'll do right there. Alright, so now you grab the mallet, the long flathead. If you look closely, there's some parts where you can actually start smacking it with just enough leverage. About a 45-degree angle with a flathead will keep the flathead on there while you're tapping it. Otherwise you're going to slip off a whole bunch. You're not going to puncture the gas tank, but you also don't want to hit it. You don't necessarily want to hit this either if you're only removing this to put it back in, for anyone that's just swapping out a stock pump for another one. So just be careful when you're hitting it. Sometimes you could actually hit it on the inside of this ring because there's dips right there, so it'll grab on nicely, but you can easily chip away at the plastic top section. about 2 seconds from pausing the video for that one. So this is the ring that fastens the fuel pump assembly in place. The fuel pump naturally will pop out a little bit. And also I want to mention, every time you replace your fuel pump, you want to buy a new sealing ring. This is from the dealership. I get employee pricing still, even though I don't work there anymore, but it was $8, so probably around 20 bucks or less, normal price. Part number is 1J0919133B as in boy, if you want to find it elsewhere. So I always recommend swapping that out. You got a lot of fuel in here. So since the strainer and the body of the fuel pump is full of gasoline, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tilt it slightly. It'll allow it to slowly drizzle into the tank. And actually, I'm gonna do that off camera because it will take a while. I don't want to bore you guys with that. So let me hit pause on this. All right, we're back. So I got the stock pump out. Here's the new one here. I should say a side note that whenever you're dealing with an open gas tank, whether you only have a half gallon of fuel in there basically bone dry, or if it's full or half full or whatever, you always have to worry about the fumes. The fumes are flammable. Obviously, most of you know it's not the liquid itself that you have to worry about, it's the fumes. So you have, you know, cloth seats, carpet in here, static electricity, especially on a cool, dry night. It's kind of cool out right now. It's like, well, it's like high 60s. When it's nice and cool, sometimes static is a little more, a little easier to come by when you're rubbing against seats and you don't want a spark to happen, so be careful. I don't want to hear about any of you guys blowing up into a ball of flames. So I'm going to clean up the edge of this before I put the new seal on it. Try to be real careful not to get any dirt inside of the tank. Because last time I did this, the fuel pump was going bad initially. I put my Mark 6 Jetta fuel pump in here. It did swap in directly, even though they had some slight cosmetic differences in the body. It still worked just as the original 07 fuel pump did. Don't, you know, flip out if you do get a little bit of dirt in there. That's what the fuel filter's for. So the new fuel pump ring, you're gonna see one side just has like a contour to the flat surface, and this side has rings around it. That's the top side. So what you'll do, what I do anyways, I put it on the gas tank itself, and then I slide the fuel pump into it. Does it feel like it lined up correctly? And as the pump slides in, it'll make it all flush against the sides and the top, underneath the crown of the pump. Here's what I'll do. Pull the ring up. we'll take the ring and put it around the hose and the wires. Get all that down in there. There we go. There. So for future reference, so it doesn't take you so long, the white tab here on the crown, top section of the pump, faces the back of the car. That way the fuel lines reach perfectly. Quick connects, pull them up, make sure they're snapped in place. And then I realized that I just made a mistake. You gotta put the ring on before you put the lines on. Never said I was perfect. Funny thing is, I did the same thing last time. I was in such a hurry to connect the lines, I forgot to put the locking ring in place. Okay. There we go. All right. So I'll bring you in a little closer to see this. Here, let's do this. So when you get the lock ring in place, you'll see these little tabs that go over top of the ring, right here, right here. So they're going to be about in the middle where these notches are. These openings are what let the ring slide down past these flush with the surface. And then as you're turning it clockwise, the ring with this little clamp right here will be about halfway through the notches. That way you know it's tight. You don't want to go any further than that, so we're doing it. Put the lines back on. As you can see, the orientation. Reconnect the plug. Flat with the red tab pushed down. I know these things break pretty easily when you try to pop them back down in place, so be careful with that as well. Everything on these cars loves to break. And that's done. So the fuel cap right here, I'm going to throw it on just so I don't forget. By the way, if you do want a new gas cap, that's the part number there, 1KO201550AJ. There we go. And that's good. So now we can prime the system, see how she starts. Normally with your battery hooked up and fuses in place, whenever you open the driver's side door after unlocking the car, the fuel pump primes right then. But I have a messed up door harness, so I don't know if it's going to prime. I feel like sometimes it doesn't. Let's see what happens. Okay. See if we can zoom out a little bit. No need for the flash. Hold the key on for a second. And don't mind the vibration over there, that's no big deal. Just a recirculation actuator going bad. Do it one more time. And let's see if she starts. good. So there you have it. Stock fuel pump to Audi RS4 upgrade. Trying to record and do everything for the most part with one hand, running back and forth to the stand to try to stop recording. You know, good fun. So yeah, it's a pretty quiet pump as well. Even with the seat out, I don't hear it. That's it. Enjoy. Whenever you guys need to upgrade your pump, it's really easy. Just try to do it with a nearly empty gas tank, and that's it. It's pretty simple upgrade. Anytime you need to go above 12 pounds of boost, you pretty much have to upgrade the pump. As well as the mass airflow sensor. If you're going above 12 psi on a MAF sensor car, you gotta upgrade that to Pro MAF when you get tuned. But for the 2009 guys, the MAP sensor only, they don't have any of those worries. So great success. That's it for this video. Stay tuned for some more soon.